Hello and welcome to the ultra positive Villa Park podcast. Um, ready to
It is with me on, Richard. It is with me on.
ready to preview Aston Villa against Chelsea in the FA Cup fourth round replay. Also, a little bit of catch up on the latest Villa news. I did want to try and get on this lunchtime actually today, but very busy day and managed to squeeze in a talking tactics with Gareth. If you haven't caught that one, do make sure you catch that one and maybe jump on tomorrow for a little lunchtime live session. But yeah, wanted to cover a little bit of Leon Bailey chat, a little bit of obviously Unai's press conference, which was really good today, and obviously some injury news. Both good and bad. And joining me to probably shed some real positivity that this podcast has missed over the last week or so, Mr. KT Kevin himself. How are you doing, mate?
Hello, Rich. Well, I'm here to bring you and Sam particularly out of your negative malaise, bring you into the world of optimism. Fourth in the league in February. Opportunity if we win tomorrow night to play a championship team in the next round of the cup to get to the quarterfinals. Hopefully, last stages of the European competition that we're in this season. It'll be better next season. What's not to like? You can't win them all, mate. You can't win them all.
Of course, mate. Of course, I am. Of course, happy. I put it down to tiredness after Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
Bit grouchy, bit tired.
Rich, is that why you had some Mickey Mouse opinions? Yeah.
Yeah, hey, but yeah, absolutely. But no, thank you for everyone tuning in as well. Got really good numbers watching already. As I always say, make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I think we actually got over 150 likes on the last live show, so a lot of people must have liked it. I want to try and hit that again, so at least 100 likes on this video, please, people. It really does help us spread the word of the channel. And if you're new to our channel, please do subscribe. And I have actually managed to pin the membership link at the top of the chat. I will be announcing a members competition very soon. Adamski, our winner of our last one, has messaged me today to say that he has received his calendar, which is brilliant. Just into the second month of the year, which is all good. But yeah, we will be doing another one. So if you do want to become a member, if you do want to support the channel, just $1.99 a month. Click that link at the top of the chat or the $ and follow the instructions from there. Rich is in the house with his emojis there. Rub is in the house as well. Mike is here. Rich also said, hope we go strong for Chelsea with us having such a great game last time out. Got to rest a few guys. Yeah, I agree. Rachel's in the house as well. Flying Without Mings is in the house. Love that name. Good evening to you, mate. What else have we got? Joe Adams said, how many days until Christmas? I don't know if he's just spamming there, to be honest with you. But someone's answered him. Mike says 323, which is a good one. Weston's in the house. Jean is in the house. It was great to see you the other night after the Newcastle game. I know obviously I wasn't in the best of moods, but you definitely cheered me up saying hello. So thank you for tuning in. Yeah, we've got a question from Ravi. We'll come to that later. Terry's in the house as well. Great to see so many familiar faces and some new names, which is brilliant. Weston, look at you. You've got a fan, Kev. Hope this won't come across as me being a weirdo, but I have to say Kev's my favourite guest presenter.
Thank you very much.
Look at that. Well,
It was-
Weston, that does definitely make you a weirdo, mate.
Is that because I've not been on recently, so I'm more of like a guest?
You
Um,
are, you are, you
doing
are.
stuff. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thanks, Weston. The feeling's mutual, mate. Thank you.
Jaradan, I'm going to have to time you out, mate, because you keep asking the same question. I'm very sorry. Danny is in the house. Guys listening from Abu Dhabi. That's brilliant. Thank you for tuning in. So, Kev, yeah, been off the pod for a while. Villa have had a little bit of a mixed bag over the last week or so. Good result against Sheffield United the other day, or great result. A bit of a poor performance against Newcastle, but like I say, we dusted that off on Saturday. We talked about this being a really big week for us coming into this home game against Chelsea in the FA Cup. Obviously, United coming up on Sunday, so the first leg of that is tomorrow. You've mentioned there a really good. A really good opportunity to progress in the FA Cup. And Emery said that himself in the press conference. You know, it's a game that he seems to want to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and it looks like it's just gone to extra time as well. Plymouth Leeds finished 1-1. So, you know, we're not going to get the benefit of extra time tiring the legs out.
No.
It's going to be a few weeks until we play it, if we get past Chelsea, of course. But yeah, it's a big opportunity. It's a big opportunity for Aston Villa. You know, we have to look at, I think we have to stand back sometimes. And obviously we touched on the pod the other night. And to be honest, I did listen to about half of it. And I did think actually it was fairly reasonable, some of the comments. I think there's sometimes a little bit of, I think it's just Villa fans, you know, it just goes a little bit off a cliff, you know, almost as if like, if you do not win every single game, then it's an absolute disgrace. And look, I get it. I want us to, Sam always gives me a bit of grief for this, doesn't he? Because, you know, as if like, oh, we're happy with 7th, are we, Kev? I'm like, no, I'm not at all. I think we've got an opportunity to finish top 4 this season. I'm still, and I got to be honest with everybody, I'm still looking at thinking we're only 5 points off top. So, you know, like, so someone's got to win the league. Why not us? Probably because of our injury record and our lack of experience at this end. But let's not talk about sensible points here. There's so much to play for. But I'm still a massive lover deep down of the FA Cup. You know, I remember my old man who's not been around now for, God, a good 17 years, but always used to say to me, the most important competition in the world, son. You know, he was there. He went up to Birmingham City Centre when Villa won it last, and he was a 15-year-old lad at the time and held the trophy. And I think it was like Lewis's shop. Met Johnny Dixon and, you know, all those guys. And, you know, that's the last time a club of Aston Villa's rich history and tradition has won that trophy. So with Unai, the cup specialist as a manager, with a home draw, with the championship team next, it's a big opportunity to get a trophy, to qualify for Europe as well. So I just think we've got to give it all we've got, basically.
Yeah, 100%. And Rich says there, you know, obviously from the other night, 5 different goal scorers, team is back in the groove. And on that, like with regards to kind of this match tomorrow night, you know, winning is a habit, isn't it? So no matter what competition it's in, no matter what, we'll talk about kind of potential players that might come in a bit, but no matter who comes in, you know, winning is a habit. There's nothing worse than kind of getting a good result on Saturday, poor result potentially tomorrow, and then having to pick yourself up for another game. You'd rather get that win, get another win, and that takes you into Sunday on a real high.
Yeah, and this team are used to winning now. They really are under the Unai Emery era, which is now what, year and a quarter now. One of the comments, one of the questions in the press conference today was the fact that every time we've lost a game this season, we won the next one straight afterwards. That's a mark of a really good team, because often losing can set a bit of doubt and negativity in. Are we as good as we thought we were? And Villa seem to just respond every single time. So that's massive. And look, it's not been that many times because we haven't lost that many games, which obviously it's fantastic. But yeah, winning breeds winning, doesn't it? Absolutely. It breeds a winning mentality. But even for us, losing breeds winning. That's just where the club is. And obviously, we very rarely draw games. So, yeah, look, I think that it was good to get a selection of goal scorers. I'd always probably rather Watkins get 4 and Bailey get 1, because you've got your main striker scoring more goals. But, you know, as in, it's great to share it around. But and that's been one of the real advantages of us this season. That stat recently with the goal contributions of, you know, I know you kind of bemoan that if you get a pass and an assist in your own half, it's not really the same as a Trivela pass, you know, around the back of a defender. But you get the point, don't you? Know, with
of course. I was being a little bit facetious.
You were, yeah. McGinn, Louise, Bailey, Watkins, all these players. You know, Diaby, goals, assists this season. It's like a level we've not seen in the Premier League for Aston Villa for years and years.
Yeah, it's 71 goals or something. AVFC Stato had said in all competitions this season. So, we've you've got to be thinking like 100 goals this season, that we should be getting. With regards to the number of games that we've got left,
Yeah.
potential in the Conference League and all that jazz. So, yeah, it is a different level, and it is a different world, and it's that. From the points that Sam and I were making, I guess it's looking at that transition from that team that has also runs or kind of trying to push into that elite level of the Premier League to now kind of being in that elite level and knowing that we're at that table. If we want to be kind of talked about within the likes of the City, the Man Cities, the Arsenal and Liverpool's. Obviously there's all those memes, there's all those graphics that come on with the top three now and not the top four. But if we want to be kind of put into that bracket, we've got to act like we are in that bracket, and us as fans play a big part in that.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that mentality of act as if. It comes. I remember that it's a great scene from the film Boiler Room. That those haven't seen it, it's a bit rude, but he talks about to this group of junior salespeople. I might have talked about it, in my day job in recruitment. But you've got to believe, basically. If you don't believe, it's kind of fake it till you make it. We've kind of made it as a team in terms of our performance over 2023 and where we are in the league now. But if you don't believe it, you ain't going to do anything. And that's across all kind of sport, but across life. There's all that psychological view, isn't it? That, if you believe in success, you're more likely to get success. You believe in failure, more likely to get failure. And this team now aren't under Stephen Gerrard. Remember, Chelsea should be coming to Villa Park and wiping the floor with us. Was that famous quote, which I think most Villa fans were absolutely just disgusted with the defeatist nature of it all, and then that plays into that narrative of that we are small and you are big and you should be beating us. Well, actually, odds-wise, the Man Cities, the Liverpool's, Arsenal's will probably beat us more times than they will beat them on the percentages. But why the hell can't we, particularly at home? Why the hell can't we? So I just think that kind of belief now is just. It should really be sky high. You can see it from the players, and it all comes from that main man, doesn't it, Unai?
Yeah, and goals spread around the team obviously has a massive impact on the opposition because they don't know who to focus on. They don't know who to kind of mark out the game, and then that would kind of snuff out Villa, as we've had in the past with certain other players that have played for us. So yeah, that obviously breeds that threat that we carry, and particularly at home. Talking of kind of the I guess the team that are going to face us and kind of trying to deal with this threat, Chelsea, not in a great position in the league at all. Not in a good position with their manager in terms of the fans and their views on him. How do you think like they kind of come into this game with? I mean, is it like needed for them to almost save their season? I know they're in the Carabao Cup final, and what does it mean for Pochettino coming into this game?
This is an absolutely huge game for Chelsea in their recent history. Not that long ago that they won their second Champions League, and the way they've played over the last couple of years is just absolutely appalling, really, based on the level of player they've got and the money they've spent. Maybe more money they've spent rather than level player they've got, because they've paid some unbelievable figures over the odds. And that, we've been there as a club over the years. Man United have had it in the last 10 years or so. Once that negativity sets in a little bit, it can be very hard to shake it off. You can shake it off sporadically. I think the Chelsea have definitely improved. I think we caught them even when we had that draw. They've definitely improved. And they could easily beat us tomorrow night, easily, with the quality of player they've got. But it just feels like there's a lot of negativity in there. They're not going to finish in the top 7. I think we can pretty much safely say that. They're not in Europe. They're in the Carabao Cup final, sure, but against the Liverpool team that you'd probably fancy to win it on a one-off day. The FA Cup for them is a chance to get into Europe, for one, and it's a chance to win a trophy and give something to this season that that Chelsea fans really probably want with the stature of the club. So I'm expecting Chelsea to give it everything they've got, because once this FA Cup runs over, they've got one game to focus on this season. Whether they finish 9th or 13th doesn't really matter, really. It also, the pressure Pochettino's on, there's all those those rumours is under that they can't afford with the profit and sustainability rules and FFP to pay him off if they wanted to sack him. But he's obviously a proud guy. He's going to want to put a performance out there. So, and they're going to have quite a strong away contingent as well as you do in the FA Cup. So I'm expecting him to have probably a 4,000 or 5,000. So under the lights, Villa Park, I think they're going to be up for it.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel said there they'll go strong as they have a few routes to get into Europe and a trophy. Exactly what you said, and yeah, Rich saying there exactly this. One way they will go as strong as possible. Have they? Well, have they got a couple of injuries or anything after Saturday against Wolves? I don't know if I recall someone getting injured the other night, but obviously Cole Palmer has been, I guess, their only real big bright spot for this season. He was pretty sharp against us in both games when he came on in the game we won 1-0, and obviously last week. But yeah, I mean, other than that, Caicedo, Fernandez have flattered to deceive. There's rumours of him like looking to get out of the club. Up front, they've obviously let. I don't know if they let Broha go, but he was looking to leave. And Kunku might be back. But yeah, it just seems like they've got some really good names, but for whatever reason, it's just not clicking for them with the players that they've got.
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs. I know that there's the longer term ones like Kukurea and Fafana. I know that Colwell's out. Obviously, Reece James is out. I'm not too sure about anything else in terms of like latest ones. They've got players like Chilwell's fairly recently back to action, and don't want to like put the jinx this at all, but like looks like he's not quite at the levels he's been at when he's been obviously playing for England in the past. So yeah, I don't know. I think that the biggest point to talk about is the thing you just said, that they've really flattered to deceive. I mean, I always thought Caicedo was good at Brighton. Did I think he was worth that much money on the back of a good couple of seasons at Brighton? Fernandez, World Cup winning centre midfielder, but I don't think he looks like a £100+ million player. I mean, he's clearly decent and tidy on the ball, but would you all right, George, get well soon, mate. Would you really want to swap Fernandez and Caicedo for Kamara and Luiz? I wouldn't swap them any day of the week.
Well, this is the thing. It's that midfield two. I know we've talked about this so many times, but that midfield two is what 250 million or 220 million or whatever it is, and our midfield is Boubacar Kamara for free and
17.5 million in total.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
And then some Scottish fella with a big behind was the bit of money, and everything else was free or for the books, wasn't it?
Yeah. It is pretty crazy, but yeah, I do think Chelsea will go strong. I do think they're certainly a team not to be taken lightly. I know they do concede goals and they have lapses in concentration, but the game at Stamford Bridge, they really could have been 2 or 3-0 up inside the first, in that first half. It wasn't really until, I know we had a couple of opportunities, but it wasn't really until sort of 65, 70 minutes that we did start to take control, and we could have won it. But it was a really, over the course of the 90 minutes, both teams could say that they had opportunities to win. So I'm not expecting anything too different from that tomorrow.
Yeah, Unai referred to that in his presser, actually, that probably didn't deserve to win the game, but we had chances and they were really good in the first half. That's as good as I've seen them all season in the first half, really, from what I'd seen of Chelsea. Can they replicate that level of performance tomorrow night away at Villa? I'm not sure. They've got some really, really, really dangerous players. I think Gallagher's a really good player. I think he's fairly underrated at times, actually, because I think he always looks like he's got loads of energy. He was great against us in the game, obviously, at Stamford Bridge. Palmer's been a revelation this season. Absolute credit to him, what he's done. Sterling's form's actually been really good. I think he's playing better now than when he was playing for England in the 2-3 years back. I think he looks like really good. And Kuku's got obviously pedigree, not massive pedigree in the Premier League. Beyond that, I mean, you always think that Chukwuemeka might finally do something.
It's just they seem to have really good play until they get to both boxes.
Yeah.
Unless like Cole Palmer or Sterling is on form and being clinical, they sort of lack and again, I don't want to tempt fate, but they seem to just lack that little clinical edge at this moment in time. That's not to say that they won't get it. And then at the other end, they seem to suffer from some lapses in concentration or some communication errors at the back, that kind of thing, or yeah, just obviously Neto had an absolute field day the other day against their fullback, and you're just thinking, like, if Diaby can be on song or if Bailey can be on song, you just know that their defense can be got at.
Well, Diaby doesn't take anybody on anymore, so he's probably not the best.
That's true. Well, hopefully he turns into that player tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking with their fullbacks and also with Disassi and Thiago Silva. I mean, I'm nearly Thiago Silva's age. So are you? Like, that's how old he is, and that's got to catch up with you at some point. And when you've got Bailey and I mean Diaby maybe running not past him, but at least near him to put him off, and obviously Watkins. I think there's some real potent. McGinn charging on. I think we've got some opportunities there. I'm expecting, hopefully, like, we talk about these injuries and these problems we've got. I'm really expecting big things to start coming through from Jacob Ramsey. I actually think he could be a player back end of the season that could be solving a few of our problems in terms of if people are off on form, etc. So, and he's obviously got some pace. I think they're really gettable at, and I think that if we can get at them, I think we'll get some success.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Flying with that Ming says, am I traveling down? I think you live in Newcastle, don't you, mate? But no, I'm not. I'm not traveling down tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's just a bit of a tough one to get down in midweek. Unless I'm obviously down in Birmingham, but I'm not this week, so yeah, I won't be there. Are you going tomorrow, Kev?
I'm actually not. No, it's the only home game I've not been to this season is the Carabao Cup and against Everton and this one. So got the kids late night.
Yeah, it's late.
You know,
Yeah, I
yeah,
get it. It's on
it's a nice
TV.
exciting one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. What else have we got here? Some people kind of saying that Rub says Chelsea are a group of overrated players with no team spirit and zero confidence, but the only issue is Villa are often a good opponent for this kind of desperate team or players. Gary said their defense is well dodgy, go straight for the throat from the off. I agree. Rich said it's these teams that we want. They will come at us. They won't sit back in a low block. That's what we struggle with. If they come at us, it will play right into Emery's hands. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree on that. With regards to Villa, let's talk. Yeah, flying with that means he lives in Gateshead. Nice, nice. Maybe we'll have to meet up for a beer and watch the game in the Toon, mate, in the Toon. But yeah, let me just read this comment from Deco. I hope they don't play Silva's wife up top. She'd batter our back line. Yeah. Did you see that tweet she put out saying you've got to get out before it's too late or something to
No.
Thiago Silva?
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Chelsea?
yeah. Yeah,
No, really?
yeah, yeah, something like that. Like after the game the other day, she was like, "Oh yeah, you need to make moves or you need to make changes before it's too late or something like that." Yeah,
Wow, that's funny, isn't
um,
it?
yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But yeah, with regards to kind of Villa and how Emery might approach it, he's obviously said, he's focusing on tomorrow. He's focusing on tomorrow's game. I think it's always a little bit of a silly question from journalists. I understand why they're asking it, but when they ask like, "Oh, would you rather finish fourth or FA Cup?" I mean, what do they want the manager to say? Like, I never really understand that the manager's not going to say, "Oh, I'm not really interested in winning this game tomorrow," are they? Like, I just don't know if what they're expecting to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an easy question to ask. I mean, I understand why. I mean, it's an interesting fan question to ask, isn't it? And I'm sure everyone will have their views on it.
Yeah.
Uh, but I absolutely love Unai's response. And which one do you want? Tomorrow, I want tomorrow. I'm like, yes, Unai, I love it.
Yeah,
Just
but he's not going to say, "Oh, I wouldn't be bothered if we lost," would he? Like, I know
yeah,
some managers say, "Oh, I'm going to rotate a little bit or give some players an opportunity," but when you're asking like a question, do you want to finish fourth or do you want to win the FA Cup? Well, I mean, there's no guarantee we're going to finish fourth anyway. Like, do you know what I
yeah.
mean? It doesn't.
No,
It it's like a bit of a pointless question, but yeah,
both. I
yeah,
think my answer's both. And I love the way he said, like, with this 38 games in the Premier League, kept mentioning it over and over again. This is the focus. This is the priority. So I guess by saying that so many times, he's saying that actually top four is the priority. But you've got to be in it to win it. And he made the point: only one team will win the FA Cup. It's true.
Mm,
Um,
exactly. And a lot of times it's down to luck who you get in the draw. It's a different type of game, isn't it? FA Cup matches or cup games are always different type of matches to like where there's 3 points on the line. It's
yeah.
win or bust in the cup competition. So, there's always there's that little bit of jeopardy in the game. So it's going to be a different type of game. But in terms of kind of potential changes, obviously we've had the news that Conte's out for 3 to 4 weeks, which is not great. I don't think it's as kind of devastating as it could have been, because after this game and the Man United game, we've kind of got one game a week. So, and I'm pretty sure we'll be back running, in a couple of weeks if it's not too bad. But yeah, what sort of changes do you think he might make for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's because I do think we'll go strong, and obviously we're limited, aren't we, in terms of what we can do changes wise? Really, like there's not too many options you've got. This might be the kind of game you might think you might bring a Carlos and a Longley in for, and Carlos and Longley will be with the starting centre halves. I don't expect Chambers to start, so I mean, maybe he might start Irobanum, maybe he might start Diaby for Bailey, maybe he might start Ramsey. They're the only ones really I can think of. Clearly, Cash is going to come in for Conza. I think that's just an obvious one.
Hmm.
But do you know what? I don't. Maybe Irobanum, I think, will be a bit left field. I think he'll probably start with Kamara Louise McGinn. I think he'll be pretty strong. Maybe Ramsey in for Tielemans. Maybe Diaby in for a Bailey. That's probably about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we might see Ramsey, yeah, for maybe Yuri Tielemans, like ready for Sunday. Maybe Musa Diaby in for Bailey again, ready for Sunday. Zaniolo was obviously, he said he was back in contention. Um, and I don't think he'll start though, but it's good to see him back on the bench. Pau Torres is looking like he'll be on the bench, which is obviously good timing for Conte coming in. Gareth seems to think he'll probably give him 15, 20 minutes tomorrow just to ease him in anyway, regardless of kind of score, ready for Sunday. Yeah, Cash will be in the side. So yeah, I mean the squad's not looking too bad. A lot of people in the chat talk about Buendia being making really good progress. I mean, obviously it's going to be too early for him shortly, but that's good news, isn't it? That Emi Buendia could be potentially back quite soon.
Just picture the scene. He comes off the bench in Athens. Extra time. Ball bobbling around the box, gets on the end of one. Scenes. No, I think it's if we see him this season, I'll still be quite surprised because the layoff's been so long. He's obviously got to get up to match fitness and contacts and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, there's all been these rumours he's back in February. We're in February now. Maybe he comes back to training soon, and then maybe he's available March. He starts playing. I mean, it would be absolutely fantastic. I think he's almost, in many senses, what we've been missing in
Mm,
the times when we've struggled to break down teams. Because actually, I always thought with Buendia, the better the team we got, the better he would be because his ability to like open up doors and find passes. In the past, with a lesser squad, he probably people didn't weren't on his wavelength. I think now, and the form he was showing, I still remember pre-season, like when he absolutely bodied Tonali and charged through for us to get a goal. I think he'd be a real asset. I mean, you look at actually players like Buendia and a Tielemans and a Ramsey. You've got some pretty similar-ish players there in terms of midfield players that have got an eye for goal. So yeah, he can't come back too soon. And Zaniolo is good news because obviously he's our backup Watkins now, isn't he? According to Mr. Unai. So
yeah.
we need the reserve striker on the bench now because Duran's out for probably another month or so, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Rachel says, sorry to burst your bubble, Kev, but he hasn't been registered in the conference squad, but he could still win us the Premier League, though.
Yeah, okay, I'll have that. I'll have that.
You'll have that. You'll have
Yeah,
that,
I do.
definitely. Yeah, and Rich definitely agrees with you that he would be awesome in this team. Yeah, like it is great, and I've just checked FOTMob there. I mean, it's not obviously accurate, but it does say a few days that his prognosis is to be potentially back in contention. So they've got Pau Torres as a few days, Buendia as a few days, John Duran mid-February, Luca Dean doubtful, and he did say he's making really good progress. So
Mm.
you kind of forget about Luca Dean as well. Like you think he was bloody really playing really well, wasn't he? Before kind of the picking up that unfortunate injury against Man United, and I think it'd be really good to have him back available, for competition for Moreno or different types of games for Moreno as well. So yeah, it's going to be, hopefully getting these players back in at a time when we need them, for the what would be the, I guess, the home stretch for the season is really important. And if we can maintain this push on all fronts, regarding FA Cup, Conference League, Premier League, you need all the players you can get.
Yeah, you really do. You really absolutely do. And I think the squad's actually coped, considering a lot of injuries we've had. It's actually coped okay. I know there was disappointments against Man United. That's probably more fatigue. I remember sitting the effort we put into that Man City game. It's like when someone does a marathon and they can't walk for 2 weeks afterwards. It almost felt like that, didn't it, in terms of what we did?
Yeah.
Everton disappointing, but again, it's not a terrible result getting a draw at Goodison based on the fact that they've, I know they've struggled a bit lately, but
got a point against Tottenham.
Exactly. Newcastle on the day could be anybody. I know you can make excuses for everything, of course, and clearly we've dropped off massively and it's been disappointing. And particularly the forward positions have been disappointing as well. But I think if you look at what's happened this season, I think Carlos has probably played more games than we thought he might have done, when pre-season started. I think we all thought it would have probably been Torres and Mings, maybe Cons going wide. And we've had Longlay's played a lot lately. Carlos has played a lot lately. Moreno's back playing more than maybe he might have done because of how good Dini was. Bailey, we thought was going to be Diaby's understudy, and it's been the other way around, and he's been an absolute revelation. And then obviously everyone else has been kind of ones you rely on. Tielemans, we weren't sure what was going to happen, and he's come to the fore lately. I think once you get beyond that, it's creaking a bit. That's the thing you got to think about. Dendoncker had a bit of experience. You are in kind of no man's land with Timmy Robenham if he has to come in and play that DM role. You've obviously got Chambers, but he clearly doesn't trust Chambers because he's not hardly played him at all. And he's next in line, isn't he? Centre half, Chambers is. He's the next one now, next cab off the rank. Kessler Hayden wasn't playing for Plymouth, really, but if he's the next right back, so you get to a point where you're thinking, any more challenges we've got, it's a little bit unproven. Zaniolo still, attacking-wise, hasn't done much. Ramsey's not done much this season. Morgan Rogers is pretty raw. Based on what I saw second half against Sheffield United, I'd send him back. No, I'm only joking, but I'm only joking. But I just think, is he going to play a part this season in terms of doing something? But we might have to rely on some of these players if we keep getting some of these challenges.
Yeah. But no, it is good to see some players coming back in, and you're hoping that the likes of Ramsey, Diaby, can really sort of get back into form and play themselves back into form. So if they are featured tomorrow, that'd be really good if they can push on. So yeah, just before we kind of get score predictions, obviously other bit of news was leaked from his dad, his agent, on his YouTube channel, but good news nonetheless. It looks like Leon Bailey is going to extend his contract with Villa up until I think 2027, potentially some sort of clause in there that means he can go to a potential Champions League club or whatever that could be, or maybe I might name specific clubs. Sometimes they do that, like a Madrid or a Barcelona or something like that, because we could be a Champions League club next season. So, but yeah, anyway, and I think Emery spoke a lot about kind of how Bailey took the I guess the advice, took the challenges, took the criticism on board, and showed what a character he is in terms of the determination, which is a credit to him. And he's obviously reaping the rewards, and said, Emery said he deserves his contract extension, which, like we said the other night, is something that we probably wouldn't have dreamed happening 12 months ago.
Well, Unai basically said what I think a lot of us were thinking, that obviously he'd not had the consistency. He even said he didn't start the last 2 games of the season. And for me to be saying that this is amazing news for Leon to get a new contract when I was probably his worst critic out of everyone on the pod going back a year or so, I don't think I was wrong about performance-wise. And I think you can often say, give someone time, they'll come good. Well, there's plenty of examples where that doesn't happen. We can think of plenty of players over the years where, they haven't come after 6, 12 months. But he's been an absolute revelation this season. To to say for me right now, I think he's our most important attacking player that we've got now. Because clearly Watkins is our main number 9, but I think in terms of that can make something happen and scare defenses, it's Leon all the way. And I'm just absolutely buzzing to see it. He's a great character. I think he's become a really good teammate to everyone. You can see the rapport and the camaraderie when he's been doing his little skits with like John McGinn, and that's great. Clearly, unlike maybe some of the criticisms that were leveled at him, he's got fantastic standards and work rate because he's really kicked on to the point where Unai now trusts him. So it's just brilliant to see. I'm absolutely buzzing. And if we do, I think Rob put it in the comments, if we do send him to Chelsea for 175 million, then it'll be it'll be with a heavy heart, but I'll take the cash. It's fine.
Yeah. And Rich, who's now renewed his membership, been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much, mate. He's buzzing for Bailey signing his new contract. Rachel's slightly irritated by his dad, Craig Butler. Do wish he'd keep quiet with things. He's definitely one who likes to big himself up. Definitely. Steve 24/7 said competition for Bailey is the key. His position was under threat. Weston said he's so happy for Bailey. And Rich said, "Don't give up on Diaby. Remember how long it took Bailey." And look, I don't think anyone is giving up, but I think it's that thing with, like Gary says, teachers make Diaby how to play. It's one of those things where, and Emery did point this out, that all players are different. All players have different rates of learning, different ways of learning, and all that kind of jazz. But at some point, you've got to take that advice on board. You've got to take the challenges, you've got to take the criticism on board and show your character. And that's something that Bailey has done. And that's what I guess he's kind of looking for Moussa Diaby to do.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we write off Diaby at all. I think anyone that does that is mad. I think we've learned the lesson with Bailey, although there will be more that we do say, give him a chance and it won't work out. But look, I think the thing is, and I saw a video the other day actually on X, as it's now called, where it really made me think about this situation of players coming from the Bundesliga. It was a video of clips of Eric Dyer, obviously at Bayern now, and the amount of time he's had on the ball was incredible. And it really becomes so noticeable. It was a clip of like multiple clips of Dyer getting the ball, taking the touch, getting out his feet, spraying it, looking like looking like Franz Beckenbauer, basically. Like looking unbelievable. I mean, Dyer's obviously not a bad player. He's got some pedigree. I always remember he scored an incredible free kick for England against someone like in a major tournament. Like he's clearly, and he gets vilified a bit with his Spurs career. My point is he's a good player, but he looked like he was one of the world's greatest centre-backs. And it made me think, you come from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, Timo Werner struggled, Leon Bailey struggled. Plenty of players have done it and haven't really done anything in this league when they've done brilliant over there. So it isn't a surprise that some of the people can take a time to adapt. I think it just knocks his confidence a bit. He just feels like he's not. He did it, didn't he, against who was it against? Was it one of the latter Conference League games or someone where he kind of cut in and scored a goal when it wasn't
Conference League game he scored, and then he scored against
Burnley, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have been Burnley he scored against. So yeah, I mean he has shown in flashes, and like Sam made a valid comment, like he's probably playing slightly out of position or learning a different position. And as I said, like you've just literally said there, when you're in that hustle and bustle of that midfield area, or that attacking third, it is, you've got to be like, your first touch has to be straight on, and you have to almost do the first thing that comes into your head, and that's where Diaby is just slightly overthinking things, like he's cutting back or he's thinking, oh, should I shoot here? Obviously the Newcastle game where you think, right, you've got that on the right side, just shoot, hit it on target, and he's trying to cut it across the box. Next time he probably will shoot, or next time he'll try and shoot when he should have passed. It's like those things aren't quite just in flow for you. So yeah, it's one of those things. But like I said, when I got clipped off the other, if anyone hasn't seen it on Twitter, obviously Mark, who does our thumbnails, clipped me up saying, with Rihanna, work. But you have to work your way through it, and that's how you kind of get out of that kind of little bit of a rut. You've got to play through it. You've got to just try something and make sure it, and just have that confidence in your ability.
I think it's just a decision making thing as well, because One of the big challenges that my son's team's having at the moment, and all right, they're on a great run. They've won like 5 in a row, which is fantastic. Cheers, Jim. Is that decision making? And I was saying to one of the mums the other day, I was saying, like, about a year ago, no one was shooting, and I was getting so annoyed thinking, you get in these positions, have a shot, buy a ticket, well, you might win the raffle. All of a sudden now, some of the players are shooting from all angles. And actually, at this level of football, often it goes in, but then there's times when there's clearly a better option for a pass. So you do that multiple times in the game, and you lose the game 1-0, you're frustrated. And I feel like that Newcastle game, he should have shot, and he passed. And again, against Sheffield United in the second half, I like to see him jinking in a bit, and he got a shot away, but he should have squared it. We would have been an easy goal for Watkins. And it's decision-making time, which happens to everyone in football at times. But I just think that the more he gets back to his natural game and starts to, just make better decisions, basically. That's the thing right now. It's almost like he's second-guessing himself. I'm confident he'll come good. I'm confident he'll contribute this season. Players like Diab, players like Ramsey, even Nico Zaniolo, I think we're going to have moments this season that we're going to need to rely on him. So, yeah, but it'd be great tomorrow night, wouldn't it? I don't know. Imagine we won the game 2-1 and Diaby gets the winner. That kind of thing to, really get your confidence up. Ramsey gets the winner, maybe Diaby gets a winning penalty. I won't be surprised, by the way. He said about Torres getting 15 minutes. I won't be surprised if he comes in an extra time, if he goes just because of his quality to take a penalty.
Yeah. No, he won't. Martinez will definitely play. I was just thinking, would he make a change in goal? But he won't do that. Nah, absolutely not. Looks like we're going to face Leeds. They're now 4-1 up in extra time, as Mike says. So that's if we win. Guys, get your predictions for tomorrow in the chat. Gary said he really thinks Poch will have his lads fired up tomorrow, but we should be okay. So get all your comments on the score prediction in the chat. Also, if you want to put the scorers in as well, then go for it. We've got 75 people watching, which is brilliant, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I haven't checked how many likes we're on at the minute, but we want to aim for obviously people watching tonight, and obviously people watching on repeat. Want to get 100 likes on this video, which would be amazing. So like and subscribe if you're new. On the road to 4,000. And yeah, if you do want to become a member like Rich has for the last 3 months, then click the link pinned at the top of the chat or the $ and join for just $1.99. So yeah, get your scores in the chat, guys. Weston is saying he's going for 3-1 Villa. Mike is saying 2-0 Villa, Watkins and Carlos. Rich also saying 3-1 Villa, Watkins, Louise and Bailey. So first 3 predictions, very, very confident. Kev, what are your thoughts on tomorrow's game, score and scorers?
1-1, goes to extra time, goes to penalties, Aston Villa win.
Wow, the drama.
Douglas Luiz is going to score a penalty. Chelsea are going to bring it back, and then it's going to be a nervy extra time period, and then we're going to have we're just going to get it. We're going to get the penalties under the whole end, and it's going to be scenes.
Yeah, I thought with Elizabeth I'd done something wrong there. She said, "What's happening with dinner?" But she means Lucadina. I think he could be back soon, Liz. But yeah, I don't know what's happening with dinner though. Unfortunately, I've had mine, bolognese, which was nice.
Oh, nice.
Steve 24/7 says 2-1 Villa. Luke says 3-2 Villa. Heredio Gomez is in the chat, says 3-0, another clean sheet. Nice. Flying without Mings as well, says 3-0, maybe optimistic, but really fancies us at home. Ahmed says 3-1 Villa. Rachel said you can't handle extra time and pens. Rich says smash the likes. Yes, get in with that. Pens with Debu in goal, sold. Yes. Pretty confident, says flying without Mings. Gary said he's Kev a time traveller. I don't know what he means by that. I don't know. PJJ says 2-0 at least. Terry says 3-0 Villa. Weston said very specific for
Maybe
me.
that's it, yeah, very specific.
Yeah.
Can I just say it's going to be the 34th minute for the penalty from Louise, and Cole Palmer's going to equalise it in the 80th minute.
I like it. Deco says 4-2 Villa. Tombo Jones says, do assists count? Well, look, it only counts if it's an outside of the foot pass round 3 defenders, for the other player to come onto it and just tap it in without the goalkeeper, and that's the only time they count. Other than that, no. Old Fowler says 2-1, so that'll hopefully cheer you up, mate, on your sick bed. So yeah, all the best to you, mate. But yeah, everyone very, very positive, everyone very confident. I think I'm going to say a 2-0 win. I'm going to say 2-0. Nice professional performance. I think Watkins will keep his goal scoring run going, and I think that Louise, I think, will score. He's not scored. He scored against Burnley, I know, a penalty, but yeah, I think he will score. A 3-yard pass, absolutely not. No chance. Doesn't count. No. I think I've caused a stir with this assist business. But yeah, I do. Yeah, I look. It's a funny one, isn't it? When I just think why we so obsessed with assists these days. It
Yeah.
used to be like crosses. It used to be just crosses that counted. Do you know what I mean? Like when Tony Daly used to play down the wing, it used to be like, can he get crosses in for strikers to score? Whereas now it's like, yeah, assists are really, really important. But look, it's all light-hearted. Scrump says 2-0 Villa. Looking forward to another classic against Leeds. Absolutely. Quick question in from Chris, says your favourite goal this season so far.
Well, that's a good question, isn't it? That's a great question. I don't know if I need to have a think about this for a second. You got any standouts on this one?
There's so many goals.
I got one. Got one. The was it the Watkins goal against West Ham? I love that.
Yeah. Oh, the Bailey goal against West Ham.
Oh, when the little reverse pass and all that and stuff. Yeah.
Just that little step over.
Oh yeah.
And he sent the defender into next week.
Tombo's put
Duran versus Palace. Yeah, great goal. I also liked Watkins' goal against Fulham. You know, when we got it on the break, and then Bailey passed it to McGinn and then ran round McGinn and then played the cross to Watkins and he put it in. I loved that goal as well. Yeah. I mean, Watkins' header against Bournemouth, like what a header!
Yeah, Bailey against Man City was a great goal as well, wasn't it? The whole move and
Yeah. Lots of people saying Duran. Scrump saying McGinn versus Arsenal.
That was a brilliant goal. That move was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah. Rub saying goal versus Arsenal. Liz saying versus Arsenal as well. Yeah, lots saying Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, Tielemans scored a good finish the other night, like underside of the bar, but we don't really score too many like 25-yarders, do we? Like, no. Which is.
Sorry, I've got it. I've got the answer. Konza against Brentford in America.
Yeah, what a goal that was.
Of the season, if that counts, because that was an unbelievable goal. Yeah, he almost did it the other night, didn't he, when he charged through in the box? But that goal was just, I still dream about that.
Yeah. Some really good goals this season. Aurelio Gomez, Bailey, Man City. Gary said tomorrow's goal against Chelsea. Yeah. Rachel said love.
Tomorrow. Oh, I know what you mean. Sorry.
Hey. Rachel says love Ramsey's goal versus Brighton as I like the sound against the post.
The thud on the post was brilliant, Rachel. I love that.
Steve said Paris header versus Spurs. The free kick from Louise. Yeah, that was fantastic. So yeah, some really good goals. Look, I think that's us done, Kev. Obviously tomorrow, massive game. We are going to hopefully, if we get through, and are victorious against Chelsea, we are going to be facing Leeds at home, which is another big game. You know, we always have some great battles against Leeds, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. It's just good to be talking about FA Cup games because usually we've been knocked out in the third round, but it's nice to be talking about FA Cup in February. So hopefully we're talking about it at the end of Feb.
It really, I mean, getting a replay for us is like a win, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we've got a draw. We're still in. Yeah, I mean, obviously, sad news tomorrow night means everyone's going to have to watch Love Island at about midnight if it goes to extra time and penalties. But, you know, them's the breaks. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, Tombo, if Watkins scores, it definitely does count. Not in the Prem, obviously, but it does count. It does count. We'll be back on. I'll be back on for an instant match reaction tomorrow night. I will be releasing that, and then I'm sure we'll be back Thursday or Friday or both for match reaction and for match preview for Man United. So yeah, do look out for the channel. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Help us on the road to 4K. Thank you all for watching. Great chat tonight. Great comments in the chat as well from you all. Hopefully we get that win. We get into the 5th round, and it's a happy instant match reaction from me. Thank you all for watching, and as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.